Okay, we are now on the record. Time on the video monitor is 1:07 p.m. on July 14th, 2016. My name is Scott Nochella with Diamond Reporting and Legal Video. This is the deposition of John Carroll, taken on behalf of Matthew Rosenwasser, representing himself. This deposition is being held at Diamond Reporting, 150 Broadway, New York, New York. In the Supreme Court of the State of New York, County of New York. The name of the case is Matthew Rosenwasser as plaintiff versus Fordham University. John Carroll is defendant. The docket number, the index number, is 105-186/2011. Counsel, will you now please identify yourselves and the parties you represent?
Vincenzo S. Laviello, Associate General Counsel with Fordham University's Office of Legal Counsel, representing Fordham University, and John Carroll.
Matthew J. Rosenwasser, pro se litigant, representing myself.
The Notary Republic, Tracy Ann Valenti of the State of New York, will now swear in the witness.
Raise your right hand, please. Do you solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you.
Should we also...
Also in attendance is Thomas London, Fordham University.
Right. And...
I'm serving as witness only for this deposition. My name is Roberta Arnone.
Okay. This is Vincenzo Laviello, representing Fordham. Before we allow Mr. Rosenwasser to begin the deposition, I would like to just read in, for the purposes of the record, the order by Justice David B. Cohen of June 1st, dealing with this deposition, providing certain parameters for this deposition. So the order reads, accordingly, it is ordered that plaintiff, that's Mr. Rosenwasser, shall be permitted to depose defendant John Carroll for a maximum of 2 hours and shall be confined to the claims in the second and third causes of action claiming the defendants violated Fordham's sexual harassment policy, specifically in dealing with plaintiff. Mr. Carroll may be directed by counsel to not to answer questions outside the scope of this ruling. The deposition may be recorded stenographically or by video, and only as provided in appellate division rules. Plaintiff may be accompanied by one other individual to the deposition who may not speak during the deposition or will be excluded. Okay, thank you.
And video is permitted as well.
Right.
Right.
So for purposes of the timing, I'm going to start it now.
Well,
or is it going?
Scott's going to be...
Oh, you're the timekeeper.
I can give you the duration at each break.
Okay.
Or if you'd like, we can go off the record and I can give you the duration.
Okay, appreciate it.
Yeah, so he's going to be kind of keeping time and
Got it.
keeping us on track.
All right.
Thank you, Scott.
Thanks.
Okay, John, I just wanted to thank you for coming out today. I know you're a busy man. The reason why I'm here today, as you probably know, is just to clarify some details for the court for the events leading up to and subsequent to Monday, May 17th, 2010. And as your attorney said, we're going to be primarily looking at the second and third causes of action in this case.
Fine.
So just a little background, if you could just please state your name for the record.
It's John Carroll, C-A-R-R-O-L-L.
Okay. And on May 14th, 2010, who was your employer of record?
Fordham University.
And at that time, what was your position with Fordham?
My position was as the head of public safety.
Head of public safety, okay. Head of the public safety department, right?
Right.
Okay.
I'm not sure whether it was called safety and security then or public safety, but it's the same department.
Same department, okay.
Yeah.
All right, great, thank you. And at that point, who did you report directly to within Fordham?
In 2010, I believe Marco Valera.
And I'm sorry, what was his position?
He's the VP for facilities management.
VP for facilities, okay. So he basically oversaw anything having to do with public safety, security, that type of thing?
He oversees two parts of facilities management. One is a public safety part, and the other is a facilities management part.
Oh, okay. So he had a dual role, basically. Okay. Well, thank you for that. I just wanted to get into the report that Security Officer Joyner had filed with Fordham. When were you first made aware of this report with the allegations against me? I have a copy of the report if you'd like to see it.
Sure, I'll take a look at it if you want, Mr. Russell. Sure.
Okay, we hand it to Mr. Perry.
Okay.
So I know it's been a long time, so
It has. That's a fact.
6 years ago, actually. So,
Your question was when
Oh, I'm sorry.
when was I made aware of it? I mean, to the best of my knowledge, I believe Joe Savellic, the supervisor who prepared the report, let me know that the security guard, Melissa Joyner, had made a complaint.
okay, so according to the report, Joe wrote it up on May 19th. So I would be safe to say on or after May 19th?
Correct.
Okay.
Well, let me just clarify that.
Sure.
I mean, it looks like the date of occurrence is May 11th, and it looks like it was written up on May 14th at about 3 o'clock.
Well, I wanted to ask you about that. There's like a discrepancy. It appears that Security Officer Joyner reported it on the 14th, but Joe Savellic did not write it up until the 19th. And there was like a 5-day discrepancy there. I was just curious if you could possibly address the discrepancy.
Sure. I think, as I said, the date was the date that the security guard, Melissa Joyner, reported it to Joe Savellic is on the 14th. The reason you see the date on the report of the 19th is that is the date that the report was typed up.
Oh, okay.
So what happens is he'll forward the report up to my main office at Rose Hill campus, and there's a typist up there that will type the reports.
Oh, I see. Okay. So he basically doesn't take it and type it up the same day.
Correct.
Okay. All right. So one of the questions I think the court would like clarified, and as per Fordham's internal policy, people who are allegations are made against are allowed to see the allegations against them. And at the time, I was not allowed to see those. And I was just wondering if you could explain why.
Objection. As what policy are you talking about?
Oh, I'm referring to Fordham's internal policy with regards to the sexual harassment policy, which is stated in cause of action 2.
Can you review the policy?
What's that?
Do you have a copy of the policy?
I have a copy of parts of the policy, and I can find the relevant one for you if you'd like. All right. Okay. Just want to get your copy. So the section of Fordham's policy entitled Review Evidence states the following. Opportunity to review evidence and offer information. Both parties are provided an opportunity to review and present relevant evidence and information that will be used during the conduct, meetings, and proceedings. consistent with the university policies and procedures.
Now,
I was not allowed to see the allegations against me.
let me think for a second. I just see a copy that you just presented, Mr. Rosenwasser, but what is this is just one page, but what is the actual policy about? I'd like to understand that.
Well, this is the actual policy of reviewing evidence, and part of evidence is the allegations made against an individual. So I was not allowed to see this.
No, but in what context? What kind of a policy are we speaking about? There's lots of policies and
Well,
procedures.
it's the sexual misconduct policy and procedure.
Okay, that doesn't apply here,
Why would that not be the case?
because there's no sexual event in this at all. Sexual
All right, well-
policy has nothing to do with this.
Oh, so you feel that her allegations against me were not sexual harassment? Is that correct?
I know they're not sexual harassment, right?
Okay, so in your estimation, they were not sexual harassment. Okay.
Correct.
All right, so for the sake of argument, let's assume that these allegations were not sexual harassment. So they were just standard harassment, is what you're saying?
Objection. As to, I mean, this is argumentative.
Well, I'm just trying to figure out what he's determined that these allegations are not sexual harassment, so I'm trying to determine what he feels they are. Are they, what type of crime do they fall under? Is it murder? Is it RICO? Is it racketeering? I mean, what do they fall under?
It would be speculation on his part. It would not be.
Well, he read the complaint. So, John, based on the complaint, what do you think? In your estimation, what crime would this be? She's accusing me of.
Again, to be exact, I would say, rather than a crime, I would say it's a violation. It's a violation which is an offense in the penal law called harassment.
Okay, so you're saying it's harassment, not sexual harassment.
Correct. And as you see, the incident report, it says the incident type on the report that you just provided to me, sir.
Yes, sir.
It says harassment.
Okay, so let's assume for the sake of argument it's harassment. Under what internal policy would this fall under in Fordham's policies and procedures then?
Objection. Again, it's
clearly it's a crime. So harassment is a crime under the New York State Penal Code. A crime has been committed, and therefore there has to be some sort of process that has to be handled.
Mr. Carroll didn't say it was a crime.
Well, he said it was harassment, and harassment is a crime under the New York State Penal Code.
May I correct
Mr.
that?
Carroll?
It's not a crime.
Yes, it is. I've looked up.
Okay. But I don't want to argue, but
Well, I'm not arguing. I'm telling you
I
the
think
truth.
if you look at 240.26 of the penal law, you'll see that harassment is both a violation and a crime. It can be a violation.
Well, it also could be a misdemeanor.
It could be a B misdemeanor, correct.
And a B misdemeanor is a crime.
But it...
And a violation is a crime as well.
No, it's not.
Because you could be arrested for that.
No, it's not. A violation is an offense. The only thing that's a crime is either a felony or a misdemeanor. An offense is not a crime.
So technically, this could be a B misdemeanor then?
No, it's a violation.
Well, I mean, based on the crimes committed. So I'm just trying to figure out under where does this fall? So you said it was harassment. So what is the policy for harassment, handling harassment cases then at Fordham? Because you said it's not sexual misconduct and not sexual harassment. Correct. So under what policy does it fall?
This is a report.
No, I know it's a report. I just want to know what policy.
Well, and if you let me speak, if you look at the top of the report, it states what it is. It states it's harassment.
Right. I've already
Okay.
given that up for the sake of argument. So under what policy does harassment or harassment incidents covered? Do you report it to the police? Do you do investigations? Do you just make a decision out of your gut? I mean, what is the policy?
Harassment.
Objection. Why don't you ask him what was done in this particular instance?
Well, we'll get to
That's
that,
the focus.
but I'm just trying to figure out, because he's saying it's not sexual harassment. So I'm just trying to figure out where within Fordham policies harassment falls.
Well, harassment is a violation of the penal law. That's what it is. It's not about Fordham's policies. It's a violation of the penal law.
Well, it occurred under Fordham's auspices.
No, it occurred at Fordham's location. That's what it did.
Right. So I'm saying you made a decision to expel me from the school based on some process.
Objection. As to expelled?
Well, he banned me from campus, so. So the question is, you banned me from campus, and what was the process by which you had banned me from campus?
Well, what I did, Mr. Ross,
John, I don't mean to interrupt, but maybe if you could explain the practice, if that's what maybe you're saying policy, or just to clarify to move this along.
If it was a sexual harassment policy, if let's once again go for the sake of argument, it was a sexual harassment, it would fall under Title IX and Sexual Conduct Mispolicy and Procedures. So John is saying it's harassment. So what is the procedure for harassment? That's all I'm asking.
Okay. And I can tell you what the procedure is in a case like this. This is the case we're talking about. There's a complaint was given to my staff, and the complaint was that this individual felt harassed. Harassed? Why?
It was an allegation.
It's a complaint.
Correct.
So how did she feel harassed? She felt harassed in that when she came out of her locker room at 2 o'clock in the morning, and she reported on a number of occasions that you were standing there.
Well, she reported once. She only made one report. This is the only time she made a report, so just to be clear.
Do you need to clarify?
I mean, I'm just trying to answer your question.
Right.
So in this case, the complaint she made was against you.
Precisely.
She was interviewed by one of my supervisors, and then you were subsequently interviewed by one of my other supervisors.
No, I was not. That's a lie. So, but continue.
Okay.
Oh, we'll get to that. Don't worry about it. We'll get to that.
I mean, you're asking how I handled this and why.
No, I'm asking what the policy was, and you're telling me how you handled it.
This is the policy. This is the policy.
The policy is what you decide it is.
No, the policy is that you can't commit a violation.
No, I'm not asking. No, I'm not asking. I'm asking when an allegation is made, and in this case, you're saying it's harassment.
Correct.
What is the policy after that allegation is made?
Objection, sir. You already asked that question, and
He's not answering the question. He's saying this is what I did. I'm asking him for what is the policy.
It's not a policy, Mr. Rosenwasser. It's a fact that you cannot commit a crime or a violation on Fordham's property.
That's fine. That's not my question. My question is when an allegation of a crime is made,
Okay.
what do you do to investigate that? Isn't the truth important to you? Do you just accept that person's word as gospel?
objection. Just ask and answer, and also just, you're asking a lot of questions at the same time. If you could just, one at a time.
So when someone...
This is of the witness, so for clarity's sake.
All right, so, and let's take this, in this case, the person made the allegation, and you did not do an investigation.
That's not correct.
Objection.
All right, did you do an investigation?
Yes.
You did?
Yes.
Okay, great. What kind, like, what did you do in terms of your investigation? Like, what witnesses did you speak to?
Let me clarify. When I said I did an investigation, I personally didn't do an investigation. I had.
Oh, you did not?
No.
Okay.
No.
So who did the investigation?
As is written in the report, the two members of my staff,
Who would that be?
Joseph Savelik and Daniel Gonan.
Okay, so I haven't seen any documents as a result of this investigation, so maybe you could fill me in on what they did in terms of their investigation. Did they speak to witnesses? Did they take evidence? Did they look at video?
The report states what they did.
No, it just states that he took the information down. It doesn't say that the charges were presented to me, which they were not. It doesn't say that they spoke to witnesses. It doesn't say that they looked at video. None of that was done.
None of that was appropriate to be done.
I'm sorry, I didn't quite get that.
None of that was appropriate in this case.
So if I understand what you're saying to me correctly, is that someone alleges a crime is committed, and therefore...
A violation.
So,
not a crime, a violation.
Well, I mean, you're free to characterize it as you wish. A crime is committed, and you feel it's not necessary to do an investigation.
That's incorrect. I don't know why you would say that.
All right, well, you said that I asked you what type of investigation you did, and you said it wasn't necessary in this case.
I didn't say that.
Okay, well,
I
perhaps
said-
you can clarify the type of investigation that was done.
The investigation was appropriate to the allegation.
All right, no, but what was that investigation? What did that entail?
It entailed interviewing the complainant.
Was Melinda Joyner?
Correct.
Okay.
And it entailed interviewing you, the subject or the respondent.
Okay, well, we already established I wasn't interviewed. I was just thrown off of campus.
Objection.
That's not correct.
Objection.
Oh, there's nothing to object to. I was thrown off, so we'll get to that in a second. Okay, so basically, you didn't make an effort to interview any other witnesses, look at video that was in the school, nothing like that.
Me personally?
Or Joe, or Joe Savelich, let's say, or any of your people that reported to you.
Did they do what?
Did they perform an investigation, like talking to witnesses, looking at videotape, taking statements down?
Objection. He already said that there was an investigation.
Well, he didn't say what was done. He just said, I was told to leave the campus and allegations were made.
He did say what was done. That the.
All right, so basically you did nothing, basically, is what we're getting at. Okay.
Objection.
No problem. No problem.
Did you do nothing, John? Did your area do nothing?
No.
I'm asking the questions, please. Okay, so you did nothing. All right, so,
Objection.
all right, fine. Okay, so, all right, you didn't let me see the allegations made against me. You didn't do an investigation.
Objection.
All right, so at some point, you made a decision to ban me from campus. Now, what led to this decision?
The results of the investigation.
Well, what were those results?
The results were that the complainant brought to her supervisor's attention.
That was an allegation. Well, we already covered that. But I'm saying, what evidence do you have to support?
Can you let me answer?
Yes. Allow me.
Oh, I'll let him finish, but you keep repeating the same thing.
He's going to ask you the same thing.
Well, he's not answering the question.
Do you want to rephrase the question? I'll wait.
Well, you sent me a letter banning me from campus, and you did not provide any proof of investigation, proof of that her allegations were correct.
Objection.
Mr. Lawson wants to.
I could show you the letter if you'd like.
No,
I mean,
no, that's okay.
no, it's all right. No, I want to be clear on this. This is a long time ago. Okay, so basically you stated to me in your letter.
Mr. Russell, what are you reading from?
Oh, this is a letter that John sent to me dated May 21st, 2010. And it reads in part, therefore, there is no need to discuss, defend, or consider any allegation. So by your own words, you didn't even consider the allegations or even investigate it.
Sir, could you just read the whole letter instead of a piece of the letter?
Well, I mean, this is the piece that's relevant. So if you want, I can give you a copy.
I would appreciate if you read the whole letter.
Well, I mean, the important part is that you said clearly you didn't do an investigation.
Could you share? Objection. Could you share the letter?
Yeah, sure.
Mr. Carroll, please.
It's a little warm in here. Can you put the air up?
Have no control of that. The master thermostat, it's on the floor. There's no thermostat in this room.
Okay.
Yeah, so if you...
Secretary, I've worked here a number of occasions. It's just the way it is.
Okay.
Okay, so if you look at the end of paragraph 1, you stated there that you did not do any type of investigation. So here you're saying you did an investigation, and now in your letter you said you didn't do an investigation.
I didn't say that at all. It's not in the letter at all.
It says there's no need to discuss, defend, or consider any allegation. So that means you didn't consider or discuss or do any type of investigation.
That's not true.
All right, so I'm a little, help me out here, John, because I'm really getting confused. First, you're saying you did an investigation, you didn't follow any standard investigative procedures.
Yes, I did.
Well, standard investigative procedures involves talking to witnesses, taking witness statements, looking at video, and you did not do any of that. You just said you spoke to me when I was getting expelled, and you spoke to Melinda. So I'm hearing two different things. So if you can kind of help me clarify. And in discovery, I didn't see any type of investigative material. I mean, you're a decorated NYPD officer. I think you know how to do an investigation.
Objection.
Oh, he is. He's spent 30 years in the NYPD.
No, not to that fact, the fact that you're engaging with the witness in this way.
Well, I mean, I'm just trying to figure out, why in the letter he said he didn't do an investigation, and now here he's saying he did an investigation.
I think it would be good if I read the letter in the record.
Sure. We should also mark these documents. So the first document was the security report. It's Exhibit A. Then there was also a document that you said was part of the sexual harassment policy of the university, Exhibit B. And now the letter from John Carroll to you dated May 21st, 2010, dated Exhibit C.
So,
May I read that?
yeah,
Okay.
go for it.
So it's addressed to you, sir, and you're addressed in Flushing, New York. And I say, Dear Mr. Rossumwasser, I wrote to you on April 28 thanking you for your note regarding our guards. I'm sorry to have to write again today based on a report submitted to me by my Lincoln Center administrator. I understand that you are not currently enrolled at Fordham and have no legitimate reason to be on any Fordham campus. Therefore, there is no need to discuss, defend, or consider any allegation. So that's what I said. I had to say nothing about investigations.
Well, when you say there's no need to discuss, defend, or consider any allegation, that means you're not doing any type of investigation.
That's not correct.
All right, so what does discuss, defend, or consider any allegation mean? That you're just taking her report and saying this is the truth, and therefore I'm going to just go with that and say she's telling the truth, and I'm not going to look at it any further?
No, sir.
Well, that's what you just said. You're not looking at the allegation.
No, sir.
You're not considering her allegation. Considering an allegation means to discuss it,
Objection.
to investigate. So, I mean, you're still not clarifying. Is it you didn't consider the allegation in the letter, and then you're saying now that you investigated it? So you either investigated or you didn't. You couldn't have done both.
Objection, asked and answered.
All right, well, what did your investigation include in terms of asking witnesses? Did you talk to any witnesses?
Objection. I believe he already answered that question.
Okay, not a problem. Okay, so, all right. So getting to my physical ejection from the library, what was the purpose behind that, surrounding me with armed guards and having me publicly ejected from the library?
Objection.
No, it's part of the policies and procedure. I'm just trying to figure out what part of the policy it was.
Objection.
John?
Is it?
Okay, I mean, first of all, I wasn't there.
Oh, no, I didn't say you were, but you ordered Dan Gonin, your security supervisor, who was armed, to do that. So I was just wondering what the purpose of that was.
I did not order Dan Gonin to do that.
Oh, so Dan Gonin went off and did it on his own?
No, he didn't do anything like that. What you allege.
No, I'm not alleging it. I'm saying he surrounded me with himself and two other security guards in the library, publicly ejected me from the library, and then interrogated me for 15 minutes.
No, that didn't happen, sir.
Yes, it did happen. I was there.
Objection.
All right, well, did you order him to do that?
No, sir.
So he did it on his own?
I ordered him to interview you. He simply went to the library.
So he went off on his own?
No, sir, he did not.
Objection.
Well, Dan came into the library. Dan came into the library, yes?
Because that's where you were, sir.
Right, but you could have contacted me any number of ways. You could have called me, you could have sent me a letter, but yet you chose to make a public spectacle in the library with an armed security guard and two other unarmed security guards. So I'm asking, it was a form of public humiliation.
No, it was not, sir.
It was not? Oh, so it's not humiliating to be hauled out of the library by an armed guard?
Objection. This is all argumentative.
I'm just asking him what
And it goes
I'm just
beyond-
trying to figure out what the policy is, because first he told me there's a policy of, he can't give me a written policy for harassment, so he's kind of making it up as he goes along. So
No,
I'm just,
No, I'm not, sir.
but so there's a written policy. I mean, you're not answering the questions, but what can I do? All right, so, State Senator Padovan sent a letter requesting an investigation to President McShane. President McShane chose not to answer this letter, and he gave it to you. So when did you speak to him about this letter?
When did I speak?
Objection. Who are you talking about?
State Senator Padovan? My state senator.
No, you said that you spoke to him.
No, I didn't say that. I said,
I'm asking Mr. Carroll. You said, who did you speak?
no, I'm saying,
When did you speak to him?
when did you speak to President McShane about this letter?
I did not speak to President McShane about this letter.
Well, that's clearly a lie, because you had to, because he gave you the letter that was sent
Objection.
by Senator Padovan, and then you sent a letter back to Senator Padovan. So clearly, at some point, there had to be some sort of communication between you and President McShane, because you wouldn't have had the letter if he didn't give it to you, because it was not addressed to you. It was addressed to President McShane.
Should I answer that?
Well, I'm just curious, when did you speak to him?
I did not speak to Father McShane.
Did you email, telephone, sent a memo?
Yes, I was sent a memo to do this investigation and to report back to Senator Padovan for Father McShane.
Okay, so Father McShane basically disregarded the letter and pawned it off on you.
Objection.
No, sir, that's
Argumentative and
All right, well, I mean, the thing,
you're badgering the witness.
I'm not badgering him. I'm just stating the case that Father McShane chose not to do his job.
You're hurling insults and drawing conclusions that are
Okay, well,
in,
anyway, all right, thank you. All right, so in the letter that you sent to Senator Padovan, you said a female member of our staff made a credible allegation of harassment. You did not make any mention of an investigation. You just said an allegation was made and then a decision was taken. But you did not make any mention of a investigation. So once again, this is the second time in writing that you've noted that you have not done an investigation.
Objection.
So I was wondering if you could just clarify that for me.
I wrote back to Senator Padovan to respond to his letter to Father McShane as I was directed to do.
Right.
And I told him the truth. And for you to assume that there was no investigation, I don't know really where you're getting that from.
Well, I'm getting that from your words. Your words said, and I quote, "A female member of our staff made a credible allegation of harassment." There was no statement that an investigation was done. So this is twice I'm getting it from your words.
Objection. Sorry.
Should I answer?
Well, I'm still waiting for an answer on, you said there was a credible allegation of harassment, but there was no investigation.
Sir, there could not be a credible allegation of harassment. It couldn't be credible unless I investigated it. The mere word credible speaks to the fact that I investigated.
No, it just means the allegation was credible. It says nothing about an investigation.
Objection.
So you're basically making a decision. I mean, you didn't, if you had done an investigation, you would have said, a female member of our staff made a credible allegation of harassment, and after an extensive investigation, we have found X, Y, and Z. That was not what you said.
Objection. Would it help, Mr. Carroll, if you showed the letter?
Sure, I'll show them the letter. It's not, I mean, it is what it is, so, I mean. Yeah, so in paragraph 3, you clearly stated she made an allegation, but you didn't do an investigation.
Are you referring to me to, you're referring me to paragraph 3?
Paragraph 3, that's correct.
Okay, let me read paragraph 3 into the record then.
Sure, please do.
Unfortunately, a female member of our staff made a credible allegation. So the mere word credible absolutely states that an investigation was done.
No, it just says...
Excuse me, sir. How could I determine it to be credible unless I investigated it?
Well, it's credible based on the report that Joe wrote for you.
Objection. Asked and answered. We got to continue reading, or? If I can have,
All right, so,
if I just may.
all right, so second time, you had an opportunity to state whether you did an investigation, and you basically chose not to.
Mr. Objection, speculative, and
How would you define a credible allegation?
Mr. Russell, if I just may, I just want to mark this as Exhibit D.
Sure, please do.
The letter from Senator, no, Mr. Carroll's response to Senator Frank Pavay. Letter dated August 26, 2010.
So how would you define a credible allegation?
An allegation that was investigated and determined to be either supported or not. Credible is supported.
All right, so how would you define an uncredible allegation? For example, someone who says...
That means that the investigation showed that the complainant's allegation was not credible.
But the definition of an allegation is such that it's not a known fact. It's just someone making a claim.
Objection. This is unclear. What's your answer to the question?
I'm just trying to define what an allegation is. What is an allegation? A statement of fact, or an allegation that's an opinion?
An allegation may be both.
Oh, so it can be both.
Sure.
So there are uncredible allegations.
Absolutely.
So in this case, you felt that this was a credible allegation without talking to any witnesses.
That's incorrect, sir.
What witnesses did you talk to?
As I mentioned before, I spoke to the complainant, and when I say I, my staff spoke to the complainant, and they spoke to the subject.
Okay, what about third-party witnesses?
Based on the complaint, there were no third-party witnesses.
But I emailed you several third-party witnesses that you refused to investigate. And I asked you to review videotape, and you refused to review videotape.
That's not correct, sir.
What's not correct?
What you just said is not correct, sir.
Can you provide evidence that you spoke to third-party witnesses and reviewed videotape?
The people that you sent me were not third-party witnesses.
Well, third-party witnesses are defined as people who are not involved in the actual complaint.
No, I'm looking for witnesses who were present at the time and the place of occurrence who can either validate or not.
And these people were present at multiple times.
They were not present at the times that Melissa Joyner complained about.
Oh, no, yes, they were, because there were other security guards there.
Objection.
All right, well, you chose not to talk to third-party witnesses that I sent you, so.
Objection.
All right, so would you consider security guards who file false reports a danger to the safety of the campus community?
Objection.
Would you?
I think that's beyond the scope.
Oh, no, it's well within the scope, because the second cause of action clearly states that the investigation falls within Fordham's policy. So I'm just asking.
But it's a policy that Mr. Carroll said did not apply. So there was no.
Well, that's his opinion. It's not irrelevant because that's his opinion. But the second cause of action clearly states that, had Mr. Carroll investigated the false claims, he would have discovered they were without merit. So my question once again is, do you feel that security guards who lie, who make false statements, a danger to the community?
Objection. It's speculative. Danger to the community?
No, I'm asking, it's a yes or no question. So yes, do you consider them a danger, or no, do you not consider them a danger?
You have to define danger.
How do I define danger? Oh, okay. All right, well, we'll look up danger real quick on the internet. Okay, danger, the possibility of suffering from harm or injury, or person or thing that is likely to cause harm or injury, or the possibility of something unwelcome or unpleasant.
Yes, using that definition, I would think that they were a danger to the community if a security guard ever made a false report of an incident.
So clearly that would make you and your department look bad if a security guard made a false claim, a false report.
It would be unacceptable to me.
It would be. Right. So I guess in that case there would be a reason to cover that up.
Objection. Argumentative, speculative.
All right. Well, it was covered up because no investigation was done. So.
Objection.
Okay. So you sent me a voicemail on August 25th 2010, which was after the letter that you had sent to me banning me from campus under the threat of arrest. Can you tell me what the purpose of that voicemail was?
Do you have the voicemail?
Sure, I got the voicemail right here. Well, I can also read it to you as well, so we have it in the record. Okay, so here's the transcript of the phone call. Hi, Matt. This is John Carroll, the head of security at Fordham. How are you? I know that we've spoken, and I have had to write you a letter banning you from Fordham. Maybe you can do me a favor, and we're looking into this again and again for your request, obviously. If you have any time to meet with me tomorrow at Lincoln Center, today is Wednesday. It's now about 1:55. If you have any time to come down to Lincoln Center tomorrow, I get down there in the morning, or if you want to give my office a call and tell me when it's convenient for you to meet, I'll certainly meet with you. My number in the office is 718-817, and direct to my office is 480. That's 718-817-4080. Okay, thank you, Matt. So now this was after you had banned me from campus and after you had sent the letter to Senator Padovan. So what was the purpose of the call?
The purpose of the call was...
If you want, I could play it for you, too.
No, that's okay.
That's okay.
You read it. I trust you. The purpose of the call was to reach out to you to have an opportunity for you and I to meet, since you and I had not met personally, and the actions that were taken in my direction, but I wasn't personally there. I thought maybe it's time for you and I to meet and chat.
For what reason?
I wanted to give you an opportunity to tell your side of the story again, even though I had the investigation done, completed by my staff. I wanted to hear it from you.
But I had already been banned.
One moment, the witness is requesting a bathroom break, so we need to go
sure.
off the record. The time now is 1:50 p.m., and we are going off the record for break.
What witness?